Sometimes when I do a film or a creative project, it is all about me. It has to be my voice because I have to be very forceful and say, no, that's not what I want this. But in this current project, it's a much more global creativity. And I felt early on that was the way to do it. I felt it wasn't a single voice, my voice. It needs to be this team. And I want this team to all influence it and all put their ideas in. And now we have, like I explained to you, we have people in China and Netherlands, we have New Zealand, USA, England, Guernsey.
I mean, it's an incredible ecosystem that you're sort of building. And I quite like what you just said there about you decide the role of the ecosystem right up front. So you say, right, what position do I want to give myself as the conductor this time? And then what does that mean for what I'm building around? What do I need and what I don't?
And for example, in this current project, I have given 50% of the creative control to a friend of mine. I wouldn't normally do that, but I made a conscious decision to basically share the creativity. Yeah. In a sense, as I felt there was too much for me to handle. Yeah. And also working globally, we're working across a 24-hour clock, so I knew that we had to share this. And that's very important to me. It means somebody else is carrying a lot of the weight.
How did you get that partnership to work effectively? Because you can't wear the same hat, surely.
Well, the person I chose to be that partner is someone I've worked with many times, and I've always been their boss in a way. But on this project, I came to them and said, how do you feel about sharing this project? And they were instantly going, yes, please. Because they wanted that, not power, but that creative involvement. And I said, listen, we're going to be a team here. And they were going, are you sure? A team? I said, yeah, a team, 50-50. This is how it's going to work. And we will argue. We will not be happy sometimes. We'll have to step on each other's toes. Accept it. It's coming. And they're on board. So the other members of the team are very much liking this setup we have.
Yeah.
It's quite unique because it's not many people who will give away. Like potentially I'm giving away a lot of my ownership in a way of the project, but I think it felt like the right thing right now.
I think those entrepreneurs growing their own businesses, you know, they're looking towards their role and sharing that responsibility and the risk, and so that sort of partnership approach.
When somebody's product or company develops successfully, inevitably it has to grow. You need more people, you need more talent around you, and I think the best talent teams are the ones that are more a sharing and caring team where they all have ownership. They're not just a number. They actually have an ownership of the product or the thing, and they really then get invested. And that's, even in my world, I think that's very important.
I think that's definitely in everybody's world now. Do you see that having evolved over the time? When you've been in the film industry for a long time, do you see that as evolving more towards the sharing rather than the ownership style? I
think it's happening slowly. In the pure film world, that really runs on a regular structure. It's very military in a way, very corporate. The kind of projects I'm liking to do are much more organic, where they don't really have a structure or rules. So I like to work on projects that don't have a plan, a business plan. I'm very lucky to find these projects because most companies like to have an absolute plan and know what's happening. I seem to be drawing in clients who are much more relaxed about that, and they're not even looking for a plan from me. They just let me go off and do things, and I love that.
That is. It is, and I think that's the way you must present yourself, because you know how you turn up, what you stand for, and what your voice is.
I have to always pitch generally like most people have to pitch for a project. It's not my own thing I'm developing, but if it's with somebody else, I will pitch my ideas, and 4 out of 5 times it works, 1 out of 5 it won't work, and that's okay. I've got no fear of negativity or losing a project. It's okay. No. Somebody else will fill that position. Because again, the longer I'm around, the more I realise there's many other amazing creative talents around.
It's such a learning, isn't it, to understand that rejection or not being able to work out with somebody, it's not about you. Yeah. It's just about...
It's in a simplistic way, it's like 2 jigsaw pieces that just don't fit together. And that's all it is. It's nothing personal. People have to be able to function and have to be able to work around each other and find that energy. And if your energy is not fitting their energy, that's okay.
And I think you can forgive yourself when you take it so personally, but actually it's just okay, you know. There are other people who, you know, can fill that gap, as you say. Yeah. And I think that's got to be a dynamic, because we're sort of looking towards a lot of entrepreneurship where the point of where they've got bigger decisions to make on their ecosystem or their sort of extended enterprise. And I think there is such a fear, the nervousness of letting go when you own everything, to moving into this more dynamic way, which you're sort of describing there, this
again,
bridge.
I like to use kind of versions of things to kind of explain ideas, but a project's like maybe cooking a meal, and you have your own very set sense of which ingredients you're going to put in that meal. But somebody else might come along and go, hey, have you tried put this in? And, oh God, I'm not so sure. Then
we got one way of making a curry in our house.
That's really good. That's actually really interesting. And they go, well, you could try this as well. And then somebody else comes in. And suddenly the original idea can get a lot better, a lot more flavour, just by letting other people interject with it. And I think that's very important.
And, you sort of say in terms of trialling an ingredient, giving it time to iterate it and to let it make mistakes and go, well, it wasn't a disaster, but maybe we could do this. And giving the space rather than, we need to do it now. No, we haven't got time to try the...
You should never fear rejection or failure. They're all important parts of the journey. That, again, every rejection or failure is like strengthening a muscle or something, a muscle, a part of your way of thinking and dealing with things. And you get stronger and you learn.
So, you talked about the importance of formulating that team, but how you leave that team as well is critical, especially if, people, they're good for the moment. They're not necessarily, you don't want a lifelong commitment with.
It's a modern experience where when you work and travel a lot, you always have to leave people at the end. There's always an end point. Every job ends, and for a lot of people that's really difficult. It's sad, but you can't look at it that way. You have to look at it as being, when something ends, a new beginning happens for the next person. There's always a new rebirth, a new energy, and they all build together, all these energies. But again, like I say, you can go full circle back to an old team and bring them back with you. Recently, I found a guy in Belgrade who worked with me, a really talented chap, and I brought him onto a project in Sofia. I felt he was the right guy. I couldn't find anybody in Bulgaria to do it, so I brought this guy from Serbia. And all these different countries, I mixed them together. Currently, I've got people from many countries working with me who are all individually very interesting. I think the flavours they all will bring will be quite incredible at the end, and I'm really looking forward to what we make. I
think it is the way you speak of people, I don't in that team, but even the way that you actually describe people now. Sitting on the outside, I go, God, I would like to actually be a part of Alan's team.
Right.
How, you're sort of speaking about how talented they are. How do you bring that into your way of working so that
I try to draw the best out of them, because when I look at their work, I know they can do more than I can do. But again, like being a chef or a guide or a coach, you kind of gently nudge them in the right direction.
Yeah.
You see what they're doing and you let them flourish in their own creative way. Like, a lot of people don't want to be a leader or a boss. They just don't want that position. But I found that I like that management position. I like being over people in a way, not over them, but just kind of watching what they all do.
Yeah.
And then quietly swooping in and going, more of that, I want more of this, less of that.
Yeah.
I like that, like you say, it's orchestrating.
It's orchestrating. It's really, really, I think it's just so important going forward about this balance of ownership versus that sort of manoeuvring and orchestrating, just making sure that everyone has that space to flow towards one vision.
And they feel empowered. You want them to be empowered.
Yeah.
I have no issue with giving people ownership and involvement. I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's great to completely gather your idea and own it completely yourself. I think there's nothing wrong with sharing it and letting other people live with it and generate their own ideas from it. You might end up creating more entrepreneurs and more creative people off the back of your idea.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Just making it even more harmonious. But so if you had, which is always the difficult one because you've come up with about 10 amazing moments in the last 10 minutes, but if you wanted to give one piece of really good advice to a female entrepreneur or any entrepreneur who is, I suppose, looking towards, right, I need a different surround. Yeah. What would you say is the greatest one?
Well, I think just always engage with all the people around you. Anytime you meet people, engage with them. Share your ideas, share your thoughts. See what comes back. Because a lot of people won't respond, but some will. And they're the ones you want to get to know more and maybe work with. Because I think you'll draw from their energy as well.
I think that's a really good way of looking at it, is to be how you turn up.
Yeah. Be open as open as you can be.
Yeah.
I know people don't want to give away their intellectual property and they don't want to give away their big idea, but you can still share a sense of it. And I think then if somebody's like-minded, they will respond, and they're the people you want around you.
Yeah, totally. Very, very wise words. So thank you very, very much, Alan.
No worries.
Thank you.